Welcome back to Water Park Rangers. Let's play Pikmin 2. Last episode, we kind of just left off in the Awakening Wood because I figured we were running kind of low on time, and I didn't feel like interrupting the narration of the research pod. So, basically, what's happening is we're going to go into this dungeon and finish off the day, starting this episode. I'm just checking up here to make sure that there isn't anything I missed, because I was surprised to find that Creeping Chrysanthemum and Burrowing Snagrets, so I was wondering if there might have been anything else up here that I was overlooking. Also, I kind of think this dungeon's cool just because of where it takes place. It's located underneath this tree stump, and this dungeon, Snagret Hole, is ironically located near where you fought the 3 Snagrets in the Forest of Hope in the first game. Alright, Snagret Hole. This dungeon is the toughest so far. I'm prepared to say this dungeon is tougher than Glutton's Kitchen. Bulblack's Kingdom seems to be just about as tough as Glutton's Kitchen on second playthroughs, or return playthroughs I might as well say, because you can only have 1 second playthrough. I guess I'd give it a 3.5 star rating of difficulty. I think K-Man Rules gave him that same difficulty, so it's not exactly copying, it's just I feel the same way that he does about it. Like, it's not the toughest dungeon, but it's tougher than the others so far because this is the first one where you're going to be encountering boss enemies on other places besides the final floor. It's 7 floors, it's as long as Bulblack's Kingdom, but it will run longer due to how these floors are set out. Especially the 6th floor. I know that the first time or at least the first couple times I played the game, the 6th floor took me around 10 minutes to get through, just to how annoyingly it's set out. One thing I like about this dungeon is it has a unique dungeon theme that's not heard anywhere else in the game, except for maybe in challenge mode, which kind of just throws out all the themes randomly. And there we go, I defeated another orange Bulwarp without using purples. Or sprays. That's pure skill right there. Yeah, besides purples, I would recommend maybe using bitter sprays on orange Bulwarps if you don't have purples. That's just a practical way of dealing with them. And of course, if they're not in your way, then just don't fight them. I mean, why would you want to go after an enemy that's that annoying? What's really cool about this floor is I love how it's really not that randomly generated. Sure, the enemies might be in different places, but the layout's really well planned. It's a really cool concept. You have, the really well done, like, little dirt area down there with the roots that show, like, the roots beneath the tree. And then there's a root that's hollowed out, and then you climb up it, and it leads you to this little tree house, which is kind of high enough that it's clearly above. It's high enough so that there's light filtering in from somewhere. I'm not sure if this is a tree house, or maybe it's supposed to be a birdhouse. Yeah, maybe that's what this is. It could be a birdhouse. You know what would be really ironic? If it was the same little box as that thing in Luigi's Mansion. I remember in my Luigi's Mansion playthrough, I mentioned that little box in the courtyard, like a million times, wondering what it was. And I remember I got it answered, but now I've forgotten what it was supposed to be. Is it like a carrier pigeon mailbox or something? I forget what it was. It might be a birdhouse, because we have a little feather left behind, which is another neat little attention to detail. I like this dungeon. In fact, this might be my favorite dungeon. I like the theme, the way that some of it seems to be planned out a little bit better. And it also has a really interesting concept for the next floor as well. So you'll see what that is. And in fact, I'm kind of disappointed that, we got the bodies message when we were fighting the giant bread bug, the one that tells you, I don't like to keep icky bugs in my ship, and they're not worth very much money. Because if you wait until this dungeon and this sublevel, and then you do that, you get a really interesting shot. You see how this area actually looks like it's taking place above ground? Well, if you get that little cutscene to appear, and see how you can see like a forest in the distance? Well, if you get that cutscene to appear with your ship, it angles the camera a little bit higher, and then you see something really cool. You actually see the borders of where that background is programmed in, and above it's just a really dark sky. Oh no, there was a shearwig over there? Okay, I admit I was being an idiot. I should have just gone and walked to it normally. But I kind of thought that I could just take my time and, like... No, not take time. I kind of thought I could just save time by throwing them over the borders. I guess it just goes to show that cutting corners isn't alright, kids. You gotta make sure that everything's cleared out of the way before you can go to the treasure. Yeah, because imagine how much stuff is just in the way from the treasure between here and there. Oh my god, these shearwigs and sheargrubs are just destroying my Pikmin! Stop eating my Pikmin, you jerks! They're eating my Pikmin! What's up with these sheargrubs and shearwigs destroying my Pikmin armies? That was a really bad Jerry Seinfeld impersonation, in case you couldn't tell what that was. Oh no! Did I not notice you? I'm pretty sure that I even heard your sound when you were coming up. So that's the theme of this floor, in case you couldn't guess. It's ambushing enemies that first don't appear to be there, and then emerge out of the ground to basically be annoying. In fact, that's the general theme of this dungeon. And this looks like a sushi to me. Yeah, it looks like a sushi! Yeah, I feel only rednecks address sushi in that manner. Maybe, like, a piece of sushi is a better way of putting it. Oh, speaking of sushi, a pretty interesting story that I just have to mention. This one time I was on a college trip looking at different colleges and stuff to go to, and I think I was in the, I forget what area I was in, somewhere around Washington. And, I went to this really cool sushi place. Like, normally I don't really like sushi. Personally, I hate the taste of seaweed. And that doesn't even change now. That hasn't changed after I went to this place. But after I went there, like, they had such weird stuff on the sushi. It was like, I think the whole theme of the restaurant was basically just taking sushi and then making it using, like, unbelievably weird ingredients. Like, the one that I had, for an example, had, like, I'm not even joking. Like, this was sushi, that's right, it was seaweed, and then it was filled with, like, goat cheese and had weird African spices. Literally, I'm pretty sure the menu might have even said, like, assorted African spices. It actually tasted delicious. And there were so many different interesting combinations. There was some that just seemed way too hardcore. There was one that was, like, it was called peanut butter and jelly, and I think that's because it had, like, peanut sauce and jellyfish on it or something. And there was another one, and this was the dessert. They had dessert sushi. And I'm prepared to say that out of dessert, it was the single best bite that I'd taken out of any dessert in my life. Like, seriously, it was a sushi, a piece of sushi, and here I go again, referring to it in the redneck stance. It was a sushi! But it was a piece of sushi that basically, it was just one piece, and it was just one piece, that's all it was, one piece, it was the dessert. And you could eat it in a single bite, but it was one hell of an awesome bite. And I know it was also unreasonably expensive, but at the time I was like, you know, you only live once. Might as well spend that extra little bit and taste it, because I'd probably never get the chance to taste it again, and it was oh so worth it. Well, I have not been talking about anything that's been going on this floor, but just seeing that piece of sushi triggered my sushi, that spark of sushi-related information. And I mean, we're never going to see another piece of sushi in this game again, so I might as well just mention it now. I mean, we're never going to have a point where that ever applies. And here we have our favorite little friend, the cloaking Burrow-Nit. I really love them so much. They're so cool. Like, if I could have a pet Burrow-Nit, I'd love to have one, except it would probably impale my hand, and then that wouldn't be cool. But it's really an interesting concept for an enemy. I kind of wish that it appeared a little bit more frequently. In fact, I think it's a quality enough enemy that I feel like it could have appeared in the first game. And I'm not saying that the second game doesn't have quality enemies, but the first game had enemies that I feel like they just fit in better with the other things that they were around. And I like where those things appear. Maybe they could have made and I really like this idea too. For Pikmin 3, they could have like a beach area. Like an area like on a beach with like salt water or something, and the blue Pikmin could go underneath the water on the beach. And there could be like a jellyfish floating under the water, or fish. If you went out too far, because obviously you can't have a full ocean to explore. This isn't Wind Waker. If you went out too far, maybe like a shark would come, and then you have to come back to the shore. And then you could have like like a saltwater, like an underwater ocean-themed dungeon called like Davy Jones' Locker. Like, how cool would that be? See, I have so many badass ideas for a Pikmin game. And over here, we have a burrowing Snagret. This isn't even the final floor and these things start appearing. That's right. I mentioned earlier that bosses appear on other places in the final floor, and that's right. You will find burrowing Snagrets encountered as a powerful enemy in this dungeon, though it's still considered a boss because it gets its own theme music. In this game, actually, one thing I like about this game is it's easier to tell what's a boss, because anything with a boss will have its own unique music. And this one's taking forever to come up slowly. Like, typically I only like to attack them when they emerge slowly, but I haven't had that happen even once in this entire time of me playing this Let's Play. And believe me, that's really pissed me off, because I'm so used to just doing it that way. And oh well, might as well. If it's not popping up to attack us, I'm just going to open the way to the next floor. I know we haven't got the treasure yet, I'm going to find it. And I'm just going to fight you right now, because you are pissing me off, Mr. Snagret. You are not coming up slowly, and it doesn't seem like you're going to anytime soon. So I'll just defeat you just like that. Ugh. And as you can see, this dungeon's already giving us a few really annoying casualties. For this reason, it's probably worse than Glutton's Kitchen. because you just get so many Snagrets, and the boss here is obviously worse than a spotty bullbear, or just about as bad in my opinion. It's so funny thinking of the spotty bullbear just a standard enemy. It's pretty much as bad or worse than most of the hard bosses in the game. And with that being said, okay, we have another. Oh my god, you came up slowly. We're gonna kill you in one hit. I did it! I finally defeated one coming up slowly. And with that, we spent enough time fighting these guys this episode. So next episode, we'll continue with Snagret Hole. And I'll see you then.